So other than being a full-time medical student, I also run this YouTube channel, I co-run a blog with my friend, and I also write a weekly newsletter that I send out every Monday morning. Doing all of this requires some level of productivity and time management, and over the past year and a half, I've built out my own productivity system from the content that I consume. Today I'm going to break down my productivity system and show you the 5 main systems that I use. Quick disclaimer before we start, this is my personal productivity system, therefore there's no guarantee that it's going to work for you, but you can take inspiration from my system like I have from other people's systems. I'll be dividing up my productivity systems into 2 sections. The first section is going to be things that I do on a daily basis, and the second section is going to be the things that I use when I really don't feel like working. I'll be leaving timestamps in the description and using the YouTube chapters function so you can skip around the video so you don't waste a lot of time. With that being said, let's talk about the productivity systems that I use on a daily basis, with the first one being a to-do list. A to-do list is pretty much on everyone's productivity arsenal. In essence, a to-do list is basically when you list out your tasks so you know what you have to do. Now, a to-do list can come in many different forms. My system's to-do list comes in 2 forms. One is the master to-do list, and the second one is known as the might-do list, which is an idea I got from Ali Abdaal. Let's talk about the master to-do list first. This is essentially an inbox of tasks that I have to do, and this lives on the Reminders app for me. The reason I use the Reminders app is because A, it's free, and B, it syncs across all my devices. If you're not in the Apple ecosystem, I would recommend using Microsoft To Do. I've heard pretty good things about it, but I personally didn't like it, but I think that's the best alternative for Android and Windows users. So how I use the master to-do list is by putting in tasks as soon as they come to me. More often than not, I would think about a task but then forget it later on until the deadline is maybe right around the corner. To avoid this, I basically treat my master to-do list as a master inbox list. So every time I think of a task, it goes into the list, and every single day I would look at this list to figure out what I can be doing today. And this is where the second type of list comes in, known as the might-do list. Now, the reason this is called a might-do list is because you don't necessarily have to finish all the tasks on the list. So how I use a might-do list is every day I would take a sticky note and stick it onto my computer, and on that sticky note is going to be tasks from my master to-do list that I can do today. Now, the reason I don't like using a traditional to-do list for this is because I don't want my time/calendar to be focused around tasks that I have to be doing. I do like to live my life a little bit more freely, and I'm pretty sure everyone does. So for this reason, a might-do list seemed like the best option for me. Now, you might be thinking this to yourself, and I know I did. If there's a list of tasks that you don't necessarily have to finish, what guarantee do you have that you'll be finishing any task at all? This is where the second daily productivity system of mine comes in, and this is known as the daily highlight. The daily highlight is one specific task/project that you have to finish in one particular day. My daily highlight lives at the top of my might-do list, and this can change depending on what's been happening in my life. So for today, my daily highlight was to record this video. This is one task that I have to get done today, and this kind of self-accountability usually helps me complete my tasks. Now, the third daily productivity system that I use is not really a system, but it's more of a mindset change. I would call this the habits as systems mindset, and this is a tip that I picked up from Atomic Habits by James Clear. This mindset basically entails that over time, we should try to make our habits into an integral part of ourselves and a part of our personality. The best example that I can think of this is with working out. Instead of telling yourself that I have to get into the habit of working out every single day, over time you have to start telling yourself that I'm the kind of person that works out every day. Telling yourself those specific words usually makes you do that task much more diligently, and I find that trying to do this for different tasks helps a lot. Another example of this is with studying. I try to study a little bit every single day. This is easy on some days where I can sit for hours on end studying whatever subject, but on some days you really don't feel like picking up a book. But with this mindset change, what I would tell myself is that I'm the kind of person that studies a little bit every single day. And usually telling myself those words helps, and I find that because I want to be the person that studies every day, I would complete that task. So those are the daily productivity systems. Now let's talk about the productivity systems that I use when I don't feel like working. The first one is something known as time blocking, which is basically when you take your calendar and you block out some time for a specific task. I do this for tasks which I A, don't want to be doing, and B, I tend to forget to do. So a good example for this is my weekly newsletter, which I send out every Monday morning. I have a time block in my calendar for every Monday from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. to make sure that I actually sit down, write the newsletter, come up with a good title, come up with a good picture, and then send the emails out. If I don't do this, I'm pretty sure I'll miss out on a couple of weeks of the newsletter, and I don't want to be doing that. So this helps me improve on my consistency. Even though time blocking is great, I would say that it only works if you use your calendar extensively, which I think you should. I use my calendar to track all my classes, my meetings, and my phone calls, so having the time blocking method in my arsenal helps a lot. Now, the last final thing is something that I personally find really wholesome, and this is known as accountability. Accountability is when you're held responsible for a task that you have to be doing. The best example for this from my life is, again, with studying. When I really don't feel like studying, what I would do is I would hop on a phone call with my friends with our videos turned on and our mics turned off. And this sort of creates an aura of responsibility, and all of us are held accountable for studying at that moment. Other forms of accountability can come with either going to cafes, libraries, or workspaces, or even self-accountability by telling yourself that I'm gonna finish this today, and this sort of ties back to the daily highlight and also time blocking. So that was pretty much it for my productivity system. Let me know what you think, and if you like the video, make sure you comment down below and also subscribe to the channel for more content like this. And subscribe to my newsletter if you want weekly updates similar to this. Anyway, I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.